Hey everybody, welcome back to Kiki Loves Nigeria. On this episode of Kiki Loves Nigeria, I want to finish talking about Soul Her Sister. I want to get back talking about this mysterious, suspicious death that occurred in the Gambia. Yep, in the Gambia. And after doing some research, I found that this type of stuff happens in the Gambia quite routinely. Yeah, this has happened before. This has happened more than 2 times. This has happened more than 3 times. So, before we jump into that, I want to tell you guys how I found out about Soul Her Sister. I had seen Soul Her Sister on one video, I think, came up on my, I guess you call it a timeline. I don't know what YouTube calls it. News feed. Yeah. It came up on that. And it was a video from her, and I watched it. It was interesting. And I didn't get her name, so I didn't see any of her videos again. But I remembered I talked to somebody about her, and I said, man, I really like this lady I seen in the Gambia. She had dreads and she had glasses, and they knew who I was talking about. And they told me her name, but I still, kept getting it wrong. And, I think this person had met her. I wasn't sure, but it didn't seem like they were, cool with her. So I kind of left it at that and didn't think any more about it until I was watching, who was, The Happy Companion, y'all. I was doing some research on his channel, and I heard him say, prayers for her. So her sister, she had passed away. He didn't say her name, but, he said, he described who she was, and I knew who she was. And I was like, wow. So I had just assumed that she was sick, okay? That something happened, she was sick and she just passed away. Like, maybe she had a heart condition. Maybe she had some type of pre-existing condition that caused her to pass away suddenly. But when I heard her age, I was still like, well, that's still awfully young, and she didn't look like she was sick. You know what I mean? She didn't look like she had a pre-existing condition. She didn't look like she was sick. So I'm like, okay, something just didn't sound right about it, but I kind of left it alone because nobody was talking about it, so I just left it alone. Then I received this email. And when I received this email, I was like, okay, I need to look into this. And I need to do something about this. So I want to read to y'all this email that I received. Okay? This email was about Soul Her Sister. And I'm not going to tell you guys who sent me the email, because some people just don't like their name out there. And I don't blame them for that. So to respect this person's privacy, I am not going to say their name, but I'm going to read you what they wrote me. And this is how I started researching Soul Her Sister. Hello, I watched your video on the suspicious death of a sister in Ghana. It brought me to memory of a YouTube content creator who suspiciously passed away in the Gambia about 6 months ago. I never met her personally, but formed a bond in my head. I am in a sister group. Someone posted a picture of Audria. The family was looking for her. She had stopped receiving their calls and was very worried. The ladies in the group did some digging and were notified of her death. The thing that troubled me was she had been admitted to the hospital the day after she posted the video. She did not look like someone in distress. She had recently met a man I only found this out because the picture being circulated. She tried to start a taxi business and something happened. She then posted a video about confusion within her land. Then she was dead. It all just happened so fast. I just haven't been able to shake her death. You did a video on the young lady in Ghana, and I wanted to reach out to you then, but I thought against it. After your last video of the lady, Audrey's videos showed up on my feed. I just had to reach out to you. She left behind a young son. I think they are in Georgia. This really pulls at my heartstrings. I am going to leave you the name of her channel and the picture that was circulated. I ask that you pray on it if you feel a type of spiritual pull. Please look further into this. Wow. So after that, I did just what the person asked me to do. I began to look at Audrey's videos. I'm sorry, that's her real name. She goes by HERSISTAR. I began to look at her videos and I began trying to connect with her. And the way you connect with people is you have to watch them, okay? You have to look into their eyes, and basically you have to try to touch their spirit. That's basically how you do it. You concentrate, you focus, and you connect. You virtually connect with their spirit. And when you do that, then you can start seeing things, feeling things, understanding things, what that person was feeling, what that person was thinking, and what that person was going through. That's the first thing you gotta do before you can even begin to try to tell somebody's story or tell what happened to that person. So that's basically what I did. Well, that's what I tried to do. But what I was getting when I was doing that was just nothing. You know, I wasn't getting anything. I wasn't getting nothing. I was just getting the messages that were in the videos. Nothing else. Nothing was leaping out at, nothing was coming to me, nothing. And that doesn't normally happen. So it told me either this lady is a very guarded lady. Like, she does not like people to know her private business. She does not like her private life being discussed. She is an extremely private person. And she did not like people in her business. She didn't share her business. And if she shared her private business, it was with people that she trusted. It was people that she loved and she trusted. And that wasn't many people. Kept saying, come on, Audrey, give me something. Give me something. Lead me somewhere. We need to know what happened to you. Let us know what happened so this won't happen to somebody else. Guide us. Show us the truth. And then a voice said to me, look in the comment section. You're not even following your own rules. You always look at the comments. Look in the comment section. And when I hear voices talking to me like that, I know that's my ancestors. Those are my spirit guides telling me, look where we always tell you to look, where the people talk. So I went back through the videos, y'all, and I started looking in the comment section. And look what I found. I heard from Bag Channel made me come over to her channel and see her making business moves just before passing unexpectedly. That's a reason to suspect poisoning, as it is not uncommon in Africa. That's when I was like, what? What? And then I really started looking through the comment section. And let me show you what I found. Then I find another comment in another video by the same person. And this person doesn't know Audrey. So her sister, he doesn't know her. He didn't even know of her until Black Acres mentioned her name. And then he went to her channel. And that's when he started commenting, because he felt deep inside of his soul that this death was not normal, that there was a suspicious death in the Gambia, and this had not just happened one time. So let me read it. So he says in this comment, very sad, she may have been poisoned as she was making some business moves when she died suddenly. So he feels like those business moves that she was making, that taxi service, that land she purchased, and I forgot to tell you guys, she had also opened a store. That's and it's more than that, y'all. Remember, she bought the Outback Subaru, and then she rented this really nice house. Those are money-making moves, y'all. That's what he's talking about. People were paying attention, and people are paying attention when you make moves like that. In addition to that, you're a single female making all these money moves. You're over there by yourself, because remember, she left the Invest Relocate Africa because the Dusty Divas blew that apart. So that was her safety net. I'm sure she felt safe because she knew there were other African Americans there, and that could be someone she could turn to in case things got rough. But once that was blown apart, there was nobody there. There was nobody there to support you people. No matter what they tell you on YouTube, once you get there, you're on your own. You're on your own, and you best to believe that. So she was on her own. So this is what happened to her when she got on her own. So true. In Africa, your business and personal life should be kept apart. Business associates should not know your home or your personal circumstances, and vice versa. Basically, you don't tell your business. Your personal life is your personal life. Your business life is your business life. You don't intermingle the two, because somebody's listening with the ear of jealousy. Somebody's smiling in your face, saying congratulations, when their soul is really burning with jealousy and envy and all the evil dealings that go along with it. So this person is really disturbed about this suspicious death. Now here's another one. And this person happens to be from the Gambia. And they say, as a Gambian, I want to totally agree with you. They are my people, but they can be nefarious, wicked, and diabolical as you know what. And I am so sad for her. Diaspora in the Gambia, please be careful. Don't be so naive. Rest in peace, sis. Wow. When I read that, yeah, my mind was blown. I was like, what? And then I started asking around. And then I started looking around. And let me go on. Let me show you what else I found. Let me show you what else the people are saying. Now there's another comment that says, this may be a poisoning. She had just bought land and hired a worker in her tax business. People need to be more careful. This poor man, I guess it's a man, y'all, he's trying to sound the alarm. He's trying to sound the alarm, and he's being attacked. I didn't even put the attacks on here because I don't even want to do that. But he's being attacked because his spirit is telling him this is not right. His spirit is telling him, you need to say something. You need to say something because the people need to know. People need to be aware. Women need to be aware. It is not always what it seems. It is not. They have a community over there. Africans live in a communal mindset, not an individualistic one. We need to go to Africa with a communal mindset to be safe. Now, here he is again, even through all the attacks. I don't know if this is a man, but here he is again, saying it again. This man was on every video, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 times, saying the same thing, trying to get our attention. Well, you got my attention, sir. You got my attention. So he said in this one, so her sister may have been poisoned. She was in the middle of business deals, and I hope her family does a full investigation. Yeah, because he truly believes she was poisoned. And poisoning is not so far-fetched in the Gambia. No, 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 it is not. Now here he is again. Now listen to this one. I suspect foul play. Just highly suspicious that her previous videos, she was about to get the land she bought recently demarcated, as well as other business moves she was making at that same time. Poisoning is not uncommon, and autopsies are not done routinely. And that is no lie, people. Just like in Miss Danita's case. There was no autopsy done. You cannot tell me there was an autopsy done, because I know better. For one, Africans don't believe in autopsies. And number two, you got to pay cash money for that. And who's doing that? Nobody. There was not even an autopsy done in this story. I mean, if it was, we don't know about it. The people don't know about it. And I'm sure if there was an autopsy done in her situation, we would know about it. Social media would know about it because people are asking questions about it. So people would produce an autopsy report just to shut people's mouths. So I don't believe there's an autopsy report done. And also, like the writer told me, she had a husband in the Gambia. A husband. And if he was a Muslim, she was buried the next day. Okay? You may be saying, well, Kiki, they broke up. She ended the marriage, and, so he wouldn't count as her husband anymore, so he wouldn't have a say. But this is Africa, people. This is Africa. She has no family there. She has no one there but him. He has a say, and he had a say. What that say was, we don't know. We don't have a clue what that say was. So now that we brought him up, let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's go ahead and talk about him, okay? From what I've learned, I don't know where she met this man. No one seems to know where she met this man. We just all know that all of a sudden there was a man. And from the video in Alvins BNB, remember that video that I showed you, you saw the man's clothing. So that led me to believe, that she either met this man right after she arrived in the Gambia, or she met this man before she arrived in the Gambia. But I tend to think it was after she arrived, because there's another video where she's with some dude named Laman. And Laman seems like he's more like a tour guide. Like he's just showing her around, and she seems like she's having a really good time. Oh my gosh, she's laughing, and her laughter is just like, it's catchy. It just makes you want to laugh. So she was laughing, having a good time with Laman, but again, Laman was not the boyfriend, the husband. I'm sorry, Laman was not the husband. So that leads me to believe that she met the husband while she was there. So I asked around. Y'all know me. I'm asking around. I asked around, and I said, do you know her husband? They said husband. He was a husband? I said, yeah. They didn't know that they had got married. And I said, do you know where she met this person or what type of person this was? They said he was one of the beach bumpsters. If I'm wrong, correct me. So here is the husband, ex-husband, but we're going to say husband. Here's the husband because I'm sure he was the husband on this picture. This is the husband. We couldn't find much information about him. I actually couldn't find any information out about him. I asked people what they knew. People told me that this is what they knew. That he had another wife besides Audrey, and that the family wanted him to take another wife. When Audrey found out that was the reason why he was taking another wife, and he really had no intentions of getting rid of the first wife, she decided she was out, people. She was not going to be a second wife. She had no interest on being a second wife, and she decided the relationship was over. Now, again, this is what has been told to me, okay? Because I don't know them personally. So this is what was told to me, that when she found out that the family was the ones who was, behind him taking a second wife, and they were the one who was interested in the second wife, she was no longer interested. Because you know why, people? If the family is wanting you to take a second wife, it's for financial reasons, okay? It's because they think you're going to get some money, you're going to come up off this person, or they're going to bring some kind of asset to the family. And that's real talk. So it sounds like when Audrey found out, she said, oh, okay, deuces, I'm out. Then there was trouble with the taxi business. It was a lot of trouble with that business, with the drivers, getting dependable drivers, different little things that were going on with that business. And again, she kept things kind of private. She shared a little, but she didn't share too much. So again, we don't know. We just know what people have told us. Now, there's another thing I need to tell you about that was happening to Audrey. All right? So remember I told you she stayed at Alvins BNB when she arrived in the Gambia? Remember that? Remember Mr. Alvin and Quasi came on the show? And remember they were telling us about a lady, an African-American lady who was there, who was practicing black magic.
Public, okay?
Yeah.
Remember all of this public. You understand what I'm saying? Let me show you my screen.
Yes.
That way everybody will know we need to put these people on blast. Alert, this lady is suffering from serious mental disorder. She brought into the house, her son, they came, the guests. She would eat the guest food. They would throw the guest food away. They were just, like I said, they looked good on the surface, but under the surface, they were there to use the situation. And it seemed like they were planted there because this stuff public, okay? Yeah. I want to make all of this public. So guess who the guest was, whose food she was eating and she was throwing away? And she was complaining about Audrey. That was the guest she was having all these problems with. All right, let's continue because I wanted to know what was wrong with this lady. Well, Quasi seemed to believe, and Alvin, that this lady suffered from some type of mental illness. But along with suffering from mental illness, you all, they believed everyone in the house, she practiced black magic. Mr. Alvin, so you were telling us how she was, the lady and her son was eating up the food from the guests. That was the first problem that occurred. What was the next problem that you had with this lady? Say it again. She didn't get along with anyone?
And the whole I'm talking about the whole compound.
I said she was not good for the place. What was the final straw where you said this lady gotta go?
Well, it was just so many different things. I mean, the guests were coming to me and saying, well, look, I'm having a problem with this lady. She's making me feel uncomfortable. They on the balcony. We had a room there by the balcony. She used to burn, make a fire in this like a little pit, like a charcoal pit. She used to burn stuff there. I don't know what they were doing, like raising up the evil or something like that. But the smoke was getting inside the room. The lady was.
And then they find out, allegedly, that she was also putting something in the food of the visitors that she did not eat. The food she didn't eat, she was putting something in it. They found out that after the fact. And remember, Audrey was one of those guests. I can't believe, people, that African Americans are practicing black magic in the Gambia. I cannot believe that they are not only practicing black magic, I cannot believe that they are trying to unleash this black magic on each other. There you have it, people. Those were all the reasons that I was giving of what might have happened to Audrey in the Gambia. What might have happened to Soul, her sister, in the Gambia. She could have been poisoned, some people say. Some people think her husband had something to do with it. This is just what they're saying, people. They feel like, who got our property? Who got our money? Who got our land? Well, of course it goes to your next of kin. And who's her next of kin in the Gambia? Her husband. She doesn't have any children, people. But I'm sure you're saying, but Kiki, that's her ex-husband. But it doesn't matter. She doesn't have anyone. And we don't even know how long they've been divorced. And we don't even know if they got a real divorce. We don't know if this was if she did it the Islamic way. We don't know what she did. We don't know what they did. So we're just going to have to assume that's the next of kin. All right. The poisoning. The husband had something to do with it. And now our third question mark is, did African Americans have something to do with it? Was somebody trying to put a spell on her? Was somebody trying to curse her? Was some African American so jealous of her life, they wanted to destroy her life? Oh, wow. When I embarked upon this journey, I had no idea that I'd be left with all these questions. I had no idea that I'd be speculating in 3 different directions about what happened to her. And every one of those situations are a viable conclusion. So people, I don't know what happened to Soul, her sister. The data, the evidence doesn't really tell me what happened. It just tells me something happened. And what happened wasn't good. And it stemmed from jealousy, envy, the 3 evil sisters. Because in the Gambia, people are hungry. People are past thirsty. They're dehydrated. And I'm not talking about Gambians. I'm talking about African Americans. Things are hard in Africa. Things are harder than what people make it seem. So when they see you coming over there and you living well and you living swell and you just got there and they suffering in a day-to-day hell, no, my sister, they weren't happy for you. I'm sorry, but the darkness of their souls won't allow them to be happy for you. All they felt for you is jealousy. So let's finish taking this walk together. with Soul, her sister. Let's finish walking down this path and see if we can figure out what happened. We're going to go live Saturday. Quasi's going to join us, and he's going to talk about what he knows. And we're going to try to put the story together and figure out what happened to Audrey, better known as Soul, her sister. Rest in peace.